TV to financial side. We are looking for it all. Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's your host with an S. I'm Elder Lakia Barnett, and we know that we have the lovely Miss Hubbard. Say
hello. Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Glad to have y'all back. Thank you for coming back. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, we do. We are always very appreciative of you guys supporting Tears of Purpose Real Talk. So welcome to another great show. We have a phenomenal guest that's coming in. Her name is Miss Jill Dion. So we will be talking to her momentarily. But first of all, I hope you guys are kicking off your year good. Because I am. I'm like little Pinky in the brain, ready to take over the world. Full of witty ideas and full of creativity. Where's all of my creators out there? So you guys make sure that you like and tag and share with all your family and friends, and let somebody know that we are on today. So before we get to our guests, I have an announcement. You guys, I found out some cool information about the filmmaker Jamel Jones. You guys remember him. He came onto the show last year and he dropped that phenomenal preview of Proverbs 31. You guys, he is getting ready to hit Amazon Prime with that movie really soon. So will keep you guys updated with it because I want to see it. And since we're talking about this great movie, let's go ahead and play the previews. I just keep thinking about this box. Mike Fox, that was the filmmaker, Mike Fox, with the box. We need to find out when he getting ready to drop this movie because I want to see what's in this box. And did the little girl choose wisely? Okay, I hope she did for the sake of somebody's life because I feel like my heart was throbbing while I was watching it. So shout out to Mike Fox. He was also on our show last year, and he is doing beautiful things. His other show that he did will be coming out really soon. He recast it for it not too long ago, so I'm sure he's going to be kicking into gear with getting that filmed as well. So shout out to Mike Fox. So next we'll have the next preview. Can't wait.
Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above all rubies. What woman in their right mind can honestly live up to these ridiculous standards? Certainly not this one.
Who can find a virtuous woman? See, I thought I was one. So, how did we get here?
Once you put anything before God, all hell breaks loose.
Oh, don't check me.
All right, that's enough.
You
ready?
Go on in there. Cry to God.
Are you okay?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
We have to be that man in order for them to be that woman.
Tell me you didn't just gamble away all my money, Anthony.
God saved Ant's life.
Please help me through this.
What if you were already the husband I needed? Excuse you.
I'm sorry.
Say it again.
But why did Aunt do nothing about it?
Trust me, Aunt's gonna take care of that.
I just want you to see what you got to look forward to.
What a waste of time.
You do move.
Hey,
I'm angry at myself for allowing you to change me into this monster.
This is your mess. You clean it up.
You made this bed, now you sleep in it.
Are you gonna leave? Or do I need to shoot you in your knee?
Who can find a virtuous woman?
Who can find a virtuous woman?
For her price is far above all rubies,
The heart of her husband? Do trust in her.
so that he shall have no need of sport.
She do him good all the days of her life.
Wow. That's an eye opener right there. We got to see that one.
Yes.
What-
So again, shout out to Mr. Jamel. He is a filmmaker from Indiana, and this will be going to Amazon Prime very, very soon. So I will keep you guys updated with that information so you guys can see the whole movie. And I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be really, really great. He's been having a really good buzz off of this movie. And he has some other projects that are really, really great as well. So you guys make sure that you keep tuning in. And also, let's go ahead and get into our guest of the evening, Miss Jill Dion. I want to invite her to Tears to Purpose. Hello. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
We are doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just getting off of work, trying to make it. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna be late.
We know how that is.
You are right on schedule.
It's okay.
That's
You're
fine.
fine.
Thank you.
So welcome to Tears to Purpose, Real Talk. Thank you so much for taking out of your busy schedule to come and talk to us and give us some insight and things like that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Harvey.
Welcome again. How was your day?
Thank you. My day was busy for a Wednesday. Very, very busy for a Wednesday.
Okay, well, busy is good. It makes the time go by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right, we're going to get right into this. So tell us about your story, about your journey, rather.
Sure. So my name is Jillian Bradfield. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. And I guess my story kind of starts with my childhood. I'm the only child. I was bullied a lot growing up. I'm short, heavy set. I was bigger than this growing up, so I got bullied terribly. Like through elementary school, middle school, high school. And unfortunately, that led to self-harming behavior as a child. I was basically a cutter. And I, that's how I dealt with the bullying. That's how I dealt with the anxiety and depression. I internalized it because I'm like, I can't hurt you because I get in trouble. But I internalized it and I hurt myself because there were no repercussions, so to speak. But it really was. But, I didn't think of it that way. Fast forward to college, I ended up having a little bit of a breakdown in college. I got a therapist. Fast forward to adulthood. I started to notice children having the same problems that I was having growing up, dealing with the self-harm, dealing with the self-image issues, the bullying, anxiety, and depression. And I thought, what did I used to do when I dealt with those things? One was self-harm, which I don't want the kids to do. But two, I journaled. And I thought, I have to see. Something kept nagging me. It was God, it wasn't something. It was God. So he kept nudging me. He kept nudging me for 2, 3, 5 years. He nudged me, and I was like, okay, I'll do it. and I finally published a book. At the time, it was kind of like something new in its time, but now everybody has a guided journal. But it's a guided journal so that children can get their thoughts on paper. So the difference between my journal and other journals is that I actually give the kids writing prompts to kind of get their thoughts going. I'm so sorry. I have a dog and a cat.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. And what was that? It's a guided journal to encourage children to write for self-expression. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put her up as soon as.
No. Sorry about
to write for self-expression. And so I give them writing prompts like name 10 things that you love about yourself. Who are your biggest cheerleaders? What did you do the last time you felt depressed? What song do you listen to? I'm giving them writing prompts. I'm giving them things to write about. Also, they have coloring pages. When they don't want to write, sometimes coloring can be very soothing. So that's what I ended up doing. I published 4 guided journals. And the first one was for girls. The second one was for boys. The third one was for anybody. And then the very last one that I published this year is for little kids, ages 4 to 8.
Okay. Very good. So
thank you.
My first question is, you said you was bullied as a child. Did your parents know about that?
They did. And because I was the only child, I had very hands-on parents. So they had no problem coming up to the school, sitting in the class, meeting with the teachers.
Right.
But kids, they'll be good when your parents are in the class, you know, but as soon as they leave, so you had your mama come up here, you know, it's just, you know, it just never, you know, kids will be kids. And not only was it happened in high school. So it's like, my parents aren't going to come to high school with me. You know, it just got a little bit worse and worse. So, but they were aware, you know, they encouraged me. They're very supportive parents. You know, they countered everything the bully said, like, that is not true about you. You're beautiful. You're smart. We love you. God loves you. All of that. But kids will be kids.
Okay. I want to say something about that, but
I mean, kids know better, but you know.
I was always at the school with my girls. Everybody knew me. And I'm sure your parents were very supportive, like you say, but I would have had their parents to come in, because we're going to sit down and talk about this, because this is not going to happen and it's messing with my daughter. No, I'm not having that. That's just me. But I guess at that time they handled it different. But I don't play that bullying. I don't care who it is. It's not a good thing, as you found that out, because you start cutting yourself. That's not good. But thank God you got past that. Thank God for that.
Absolutely.
My question was, which I think you answered it. My question was, how did you get into, why did you go to college for psychology and getting into the realm of dealing with children, which you basically already answered that. You've been bullied. And that's good, because experience is the best thing. You know, people can tell you whatever, but if you haven't experienced something, then you really can't tell me anything. So you went into a horrific field for you and to help others.
Right.
I compliment you. That's very good. Thank you for that. And so these books that you wrote for the boys and the girls, I like that as well. That was excellent. So that made you, I'm just going to ask the question. what made you write those books? Because of what you went through, or you tell your story about it?
Yeah, absolutely. I created the journals because there was like one summer or one school year, I noticed that there were kids. I was always hearing in the news either a kid committed suicide or a kid was getting bullied. Or I would hear about some of my friends, their kids were getting bullied at school. They were dealing with all kind of stuff. And I was like, I want to help. I want to show kids like you don't have to deal with that. Or this is how you can deal with it. We can't control other people, but we can control how we respond to other people, and we can control ourselves, you know. So I just wanted to create the journals to help the kids. Writing has always been an outlet for me. I didn't like to talk a lot. I don't want to talk a lot. I could sometimes as a kid, you don't know what to say. I don't know how to explain to you. I need a therapist. I don't know how to explain to you these feelings. Like I feel like I'm in a dark place. You know, kids don't know how to say that, but I could write. I could write and write and write until my hand broke, you know, and I would feel better. So the purpose of the journals was to get children to write, to express their feelings.
Yeah, get that outlet. That was good. That was good. So what year did you write your first book?
2017.
Okay. So I'm sure that helped a lot of children, adolescents.
Yeah,
So
when I
that's a
sell
good
the
thing.
book at events, I have parents come to me where the kids will be like, thank you, or yeah, I used to feel like this, or I deal with anxiety and depression, or I get bullied, or I have parents come to me all the time and say, this is how we bond. Like they won't talk to me, but they'll sit down and, their child will write on one page and then the parent may color the picture on the other page. So that is how, they've begun to connect.
Very good. Okay. Well, I thank you for answering the call. You say that the Lord was nudging you, and I'm glad that you finally answered that, because that I'm sure that is helping a lot of adolescents and teens. So I thank you so much for that. That's it for my questions. I'm gonna turn you over to Elder. Thank you.
Jillian, we have something in common here. I was just sitting back and I was just listening to you. And when I was reading your bio, there was the name of the school that I guess you graduated from. I went to a school in Maryland called Frederick Douglass. And I said, wow, God, you are funny how you connect dots, right? And I'm just the kind of person that will see things differently from other people. I think I've been like that where they used to call that weird growing up. And we have a lot in common, especially with the bullying. I didn't, praise God, I didn't go to an extreme where I wanted to cut myself or do harm to myself, but I went through a lot of rejection as a child. So I can definitely side with you. And what I want to say is that these books and these things that were birthed from your own pain is literally going to help this generation. I don't think you understand the lives you're getting ready to save, because there are so many children that are dealing with this very issue right now. And that's all I kept saying to myself as you guys were talking. I'm just like, she don't understand. This thing is bigger than her. And I love to say all the time that we really are the first partakers of something before God unleashes it the way that he does. So like Ms. Hubbard said, I'm so glad you answered the call on your life, because now other lives can be saved. It might not even get to the point that it got to with you, because there's something out here that's for those set people. Right. So I don't think you understand like how big this is, but I'll talk to you more about that offline. But I'm telling you, this is something that's huge. But anywho,
thank you so much.
Anywho, talk to me about one of the things that did stick out to me also is you saying that you were unpopular. Was it such a bad thing to be unpopular like that? Like, I know, like, peer pressure is really like terrible. Like in schools, it's like it's really terrible. See, I don't know how it is now, but I think it may be a little worse.
It's
but
terrible. It's worse.
Like trying to fit in the cliques and all of that. Like, one of the things when I was reading your bio, that word stuck out to me, unpopular kid. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of kids that feel like that. So generally, what kind of opened the door to making you feel like you were kind of like that unpopular kid, not really having a whole bunch of kids around you like that? What kind of opened that door?
What made me feel unpopular, so to speak? Well, I just like looking back on it, I laugh, but I didn't know who I was then, but I know who I was now. I know I was that awkward kid, so to speak. I was the socially awkward kid. I'm fine being a socially awkward adult today. It don't bother me. You don't have to like me. We don't have to go to lunch. I'm okay with it. Okay. But when I was a kid, I was just like, oh my God, I'm not going to have any friends. I don't know how to make friends. I'm the only child. I blame everything on me being the only child. So it's like, I didn't really socialize well, I don't think. I didn't like a lot of people. I like to be by myself. And then on top of that, as I got older and I started to gain weight, you know, kids pick on you because of weight. I just wasn't, I just wasn't popular. I was a target for all the wrong reasons, but I wasn't popular. I wasn't like the it girl in high school. The first 2 years of high school was the worst. But the last 2 years of high school were so much better because I transferred. And the high school that I transferred to, Frederick Douglass, changed everything. It's like, I felt like I was somebody at that high school. Things got much better.
Mm-hmm. Wow. It just sounds like even as you're talking, it's just like a whole transition that took place. Because I was telling myself, I hate it. Like, most people will be happy about going to high school. But when I went to high school, I was just like, oh my God, can somebody homeschool me already? Like,
middle school middle school in the first 2 years of high school, if I could just erase that.
Absolutely. No. I'm saying the same thing. I was like, I told my mother, I'm just like, why didn't y'all homeschool me? Like, y'all knew I was a really special kid. Y'all should have took me out of these schools and put me in the house. Yeah. I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it at all, you know, and I get it. So, and I'm sure there are many kids that just like, please just take me out already. Like, I don't want to go through this. So, with your love of this passion that kind of grew, for children that go through this, how would you say that it kind of opened your eyes to like real issues that I think a lot of parents sweep under the rugs, a lot of educators in the school system, a lot of people, a lot of them miss it. And I'm just going to be honest. Some of them can see things happening, or they may not take it seriously right away. If we fast forward to today, it's been plenty of times where I've turned on the news and I'm seeing that a child have taken their life because they were being bullied. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself is, did anybody catch this before it got this far? How does that make you feel? Like, when, as an adult now, and you're kind of watching these stories kind of unfold, and so many children that end up taking their life. I'm talking about at 8, 10 years old, like young. Like, how does that make you feel when you're hearing about that?
I mean, it's, at first it'll make you angry, but then you think back and it's like, I'll just start with this. I started writing these journals not only because I dealt with what I dealt with, but there was a stigma attached to our kids having depression and anxiety. We don't do that. We don't cut. We don't self-harm. We don't think about suicide. So you don't talk about it in the house. Because it's like, if you talk about it, then you're going to do it. When it's like the exact opposite. Talk about it. You know, Don't make it such a secret. So that's like one of the issues. We don't talk about it because we don't believe it happens in our community, but it does. So my purpose of coming out with these journals was to let other kids know, like, hey, yes, you are brown, but yes, you're dealing with anxiety and depression, and you're not the only one. Let me show you how to deal with it. But when I hear about kids that have committed suicide and all of that, it is sad. And I oftentimes do wonder, did the parents catch it? And a lot of times parents don't pay attention to it, or they don't notice the signs, or they don't know it's as bad as it is. Even to this day, my parents don't know exactly how bad my bullying was, because it's just a shameful thing. You know, you tell your parents a little bit like, oh, I had a bad day today. They don't know such and such tripped you up, knocked your lunch over, threw stuff at. You just say I had a bad day. But, you know, you know how bad it was. So it's like you can't fault the parents because kids might not be telling them the whole story. You know, they're just doing the best that they can, basically.
So I'm looking at the title of your you have 4 journals that was recently published, right? Mm-hmm. So Right On Girl. How did that name come?
I like playing with words. I was trying to think of a catchy title, and I was like, ooh, right. And I was like, okay, right on. But I was like, I wanted to play with the words and make the right like spell like the word right. And that's just how I came up with it.
Very short and sweet, right?
Yeah, I can be creative when I want to be. I was like, I wanted it to be short and sweet and cute, look cute on t-shirts and on, you know, whatever. So that's just, you know, how I came up. And I wanted it to be relatable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be I wanted it to be like the big sister or the big cousin. When I'm, you know, creating these journals for these kids. Because another thing I noticed is kids don't like to talk to their parents, but if they have an adult that they trust, they'll tell you everything. Right. If it's your favorite aunt or your favorite cousin, you know. And so that's the vibe I wanted to give off when I titled it Right On Girl.
Short and sweet. So when you hear the word purpose, what does that mean to you? When you hear the word purpose, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
When I hear the word purpose, I think of a gift, so to speak. Yeah, like your purpose and what is gonna guide you.
And do you think that what you're doing right now is definitely your purpose?
Oh yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not sure about a lot of stuff, but I know that I'm supposed to write these journals.
You are. So these books, they help with anxiety and all the, you know, all the feelings that kind of some of the things that you experience, but you just wanted to put it out there so that these children will be able to identify and their parents will be able to identify. So with that being said, do you have any telltale signs that you can share with us on how to kind of notice if something is going on with the child in these areas?
One thing I always point out to parents, teachers, whomever that decide to buy my book is I am not a licensed professional. My books, my journals are not a replacement for professional help. And I always point out that my books are written from my experience. It's more of I dealt with XYZ. Let me show you how I dealt with it. But I always tell the parents, you know, this is a tool. This is I tell parents, you want your kids to have a toolbox of resources. One for mine, you know, one is God. One is a therapist. The other one is journaling. The other one is, I don't know, candles. Like I have a self-care toolbox. And you want all kind of resources in there. And so that is what I tell the parents. I want my journal to be one of your resources, one of your kids' tools, but not the only one. I do believe in professional help, and I believe in God. do both, do them all, you know, make them work together. But I mean, some of the things that I noticed in myself and in other kids when they're dealing with anxiety, like they'll have stomach pains a lot. You know, when you're anxious, your stomach hurts. Sometimes your kid will just get super quiet, super silent. Any little thing would make them cry. I'm naming stuff that I did. These were my signs. So just stuff like that. If their behavior changes, you know your child, you know them. So if their behavior changes and something just don't seem right, usually you're right. So just bug them. A lot of parents feel like, well, I want to give them their space and I want to give them their privacy. But I took a class on working with children that deal with anxiety and depression and that have suicidal ideation. The last thing you want to do for a child that's having suicidal ideations or a person that's having suicidal thoughts, the last thing you want to do is leave them alone. Bug them. Talk to them. Don't sugarcoat it. Say the word suicide. Are you thinking about committing suicide? Make them talk to you. Don't shy away from it. It's got to be talked about.
You just really said something that's really key that I know firsthand, just from dealing with some people that God has placed in my path that deal with these things. You said something so key. A lot of the times we feel leaving them alone is best, but I actually think it's worse. I actually think it's worse because they're already mentally battling with so many different things. So the last thing you want to do is leave them alone and not talk to them or anything like that. I think it just adds on to whatever they have already going on. And another thing that you were saying that is really key, I said, I like that you said you have other tools more. You're just a resource, just one resource. But a lot of people, and let's keep it real, a lot of people always say, I don't want no therapist or therapist this or whatever we've grown up hearing, because I didn't hear too much about therapists like that. But I've realized when I got older that it's okay if you need to go get one. Jesus and the therapist works well. You know what I'm saying?
Hand in hand for me.
So I definitely thank you for expressing that, because I think some people think that therapist is the worst thing. And I say, no, you need somebody that is not your family, that's not biased, that don't know nothing about you. Okay. And that can dig a little deep. And that's what they place there for, the right ones. Now, don't you go get one of them crazy folk and bring them back up in there, and somebody that you can't, your confidence.
Do your research.
Please do your research when it comes to that, because you do not want Suda Mae Brown and their whole village coming and talking to your child and making things 10 times worse than what it is. So I definitely say do your research with that. But those are key things, like letting these children know that it's okay. I need you to talk. Use your words. Like little babies, use your words. We tell babies to use their words all the time. Because if you shut down, that might be very dangerous. And I did notice one of the things you were saying too is the anxiety with the stomach ache. That is something that my middle son, I noticed with him, when his anxiety is kind of up, he'll complain.
Uh-oh. Do we freeze?
Yeah, I think she froze.
Okay. Wait. The last thing I heard was your middle son has anxiety.
Yes, that's definitely one of the key signs of anxiety, especially in the child. Their stomach starts to hurt.
That's the best way they can explain it. Like, my stomach hurts.
So, what's next for you? After writing these journals, after just kind of going through your own personal healing and things like that, what is next for you?
What's next for me is I'm always looking to try something new. I recently turned 35. I turned 35 in September of last year. So I'm like, I've been like, I just need to live and try different things. So this year I'm stepping into modeling. like plus modeling and a little bit of acting. So those are just some of the things that I'm working on. I still write. I still have another journal coming out. I have a couple more journals coming out this year. But I just wanted to try acting. It just looks fun, and I think I would be good at it. So we'll see.
And you are correct. Go ahead, try it. Acting is fun.
We don't see. We don't see how it works.
Right.
It's fun. You get to be expressive. It's really fun. And you look like you have that kind of personality that will work well on the screen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So I think it's a beautiful thing that you came on and you discussed this. I think it's a beautiful thing that God is giving you something in your hands that's needed. Do you do speaking engagements or anything like that? Have you started doing that? Have you? Because I see you kind of moving into that that area.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Especially within the schools, community centers where lots of children are. I kind of see you paving the way and opening up that door to say, "Hey, I'm the advocate. Let me in here so I can help y'all out."
Yeah, I used to before COVID. I used to go to schools, and work with girls' organizations and teach journaling workshops to girls. Yeah, all of that. During COVID, I've done a couple virtual workshops, a few speaking, here and there. But I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into that arena.
Yes, ma'am. Well, your time is here. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that because I'm telling you, you're needed. You are definitely needed.
Yeah.
And all I keep feeling like is thank God she said yes to God. I don't know what point this was, but thank God she said yes. Because you know that we have many world changers, right? And I always tell people, what is the solution to the problem that you need to solve? Find it. Because there is a problem that you were put here to solve, and you just got to know your lane. And this is your lane. This is where God wants you. This is where your grace is. This is where you're going to soar. That little unpopular kid, God has said, I didn't put her name before the folk. She is no longer the unpopular kid. Well, let me show you why I had to make you unpopular. I'm sorry. I'm taking it there because I'm just going to be the one to take it there. But he had to show you the reason why you had to be unpopular.
Right.
I love it. These stories are like so beautiful to me. And I just really rise up because I understand it. I was that kid. So I wish it was more things out like that when or probably people back then were going through I wish somebody would have came out with a journal because I love to write too.
I get that so much. Like women my age, I'm like, where was this when I was growing up? I was like, I was dealing with it. I was dealing with it as a kid, so I can write it now.
So we are excited about your future. We definitely want to stay connected to you. You keep advocating for these youth. You keep doing what you are doing. Don't stop because it's going on a bigger and grander scale for you. Believe me. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody how they can connect with you, how they can find you.
Sure, absolutely. My website is www.jillybeanbooks.com, and it's JILLEY BEANBOOKS.com. I'm on Instagram as Jilly Bean Books, and my email address is jillybeanbooks@gmail. My books are available on Amazon as well as barnesandnoble.com.
All right. And why don't you go ahead and drop some inspiration to the mom that might have a kid that is dealing with anxiety, or to a little girl, a little boy, you never know, maybe watching this show or hear their parents watching this show and just like, hey, mom, that's me. She's talking about me. What is your inspiration that you can leave with everyone that's watching and that will watch later?
To parents, I just want to say, listen to your kids and listen to your gut. even though they're little kids, they have big feelings, which is the name of a book that I wrote. But it's the truth. People sometimes think that because the kids are little, their bodies are little, their feelings, they're kind of like, you're not dealing with that much. They really are. So listen to them. And for the little kids or for the teenagers, what I like to tell them is to keep holding on. You're here for a reason. Keep hanging on, even if you're hanging on by your pinky. That's my favorite thing to say. Even if you're hanging on by your pinky, keep holding on. Like, the dark times is temporary, but depression will make you feel like it lasts forever and it's not going to get better. But I'm a person that came out on the other side. So I'm telling you, keep holding on. It gets better. Don't listen to the enemy. Just keep going.
Yes.
Yes. So excellent. I love it. Y'all better take these gems she dropping tonight. This is good. Miss Hubbard, did you have anything that you want to say?
No, I'm just so proud of you. Continue on your journey because you're going to help millions. I'm trying to tell you, you're going to help millions. You're going to save lives. You have saved life and you will continue to save life. So continue to do what you're doing and you be encouraged.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, you guys, this was a very awesome show today. And thank you so much, Miss Jillian, for coming past and blessing us with your story, with how you overcame your obstacles, with your lovely journals, things that us, the children need today. So you guys make sure that you go follow her, support her, tell somebody about her and what she's doing, because she is one of the voices that is going to help save the lives of our children. So I thank God for her. And we will definitely be keeping up with her and seeing how she's doing. So you guys, thank you for watching. You guys make sure that you tune in every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, go to our ministry page, Tears to Purpose Monologue Movement. It will say community organization page. Like and follow. We have so many powerful things that is getting ready to come up. We have our monologue that's getting ready to come out live January 29th at 2 p.m. It will be going live on our ministry page. So make sure that you go like and follow. If you want to hear about some other overcoming of obstacles, we have women that have survived it. Okay, they have survived it. We are doing the Cinderella edition this year. My story, God's glory. Don't miss it. Listen to me. Your story is God's glory. Keep that in mind. So that means to begin to open up your mouth and tell your story and put Satan in his place. Okay? Put him in his place. So you guys make sure you tune in for that. We also have Theater and Word coming back again this Saturday at 1:30 p.m. So make sure that your notifications are turned on so that when we go live, you don't miss it. You don't want to miss these kids. You don't want to miss the word. You don't want to miss poetry. You don't want to miss nothing that is coming up, right? And last but not least, we have our Singles and Marriage Summit that will be going down on our ministry page live. We have bomb.com speakers that are going to come bless you from the single and holiness view and how to stay married. Okay, when you're going through stuff, I'll be hitting you all upside your head. These are folks that have survived the hits. So you do not want to miss this. Please go and like and follow. Say, oh, you good single women, tell them not to give up. We got something for you. Go get the married folk, tell them not to give up because we got something for them too. Right? So that will be going down 2-day summit, February 11th and 12th. This is going down on our ministry page. You guys, please donate to the ministry so that we can keep spreading the gospel in our unique way. Cash app $, Tears to Purpose. And if you want to be a part of telling your story and coming on board with Theater and Word, you guys can email me at barnettlakia@gmail.com and we will let you know how you can be involved. Either by way of sponsor or partnering with us. If you feel like this is what you want to be a part of and you want to see this thing continue to grow, please connect with us. Okay, so that is the end of all my announcements. Okay, and we will be back next week. I hope you enjoyed the show and you guys have a good night.
Good night.
entrepreneurs, experts, Christian relationship experts, that is, people in